to the mic, it's the Dennis Byron Show. Breaking headlines, truth in every flow. From courtroom seats to exclusive shots. Journalism raw, yeah, Byron calls the shots. Subscribe, stay woke, now let's get in the know. It's the Dennis Byron Show. 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 Dennis Byron Show. The Dennis Byron Show. Dennis Byron Show. The Dennis Byron Show. Dennis Byron Show. Welcome to the mic, it's the Dennis Byron Show. Breaking headlines, truth in every flow. From courtroom seats to exclusive shots. Journalism raw, yeah, Byron calls the shots. Subscribe, stay woke, now let's get in the know. It's the Dennis Byron Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Okay. Hey. Welcome to the Dennis Byron Show. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special guest that is joining us. And before we bring him up, I need to get my behind on the screen. I need to do it. Okay. You see that picture? You see that picture, but you're going to see that man very shortly. Ladies and gentlemen, what I told you guys last week is I'm going to be bringing some very special guests up on the show. Okay, you guys. Okay, you can see me now. Okay. How's my makeup on? So I've been telling you guys that I had some guests lined up for the show. This man, someone I have great respect for, someone I've worked with over the years. He's so busy. This is an opportunity for all those who are interested in getting into the film business and maybe the music business. This man has many years of experience working not just in Hollywood, but he's worked in the hood. I would just say in the hood at some point in time, like I have, and like many of us have before we became who we are today. With that, I want to introduce my guest. This is a very special treat for me because, like I said, it's very hard to get busy people on the show, and he's actually launching. They have a movie. He has a movie coming out. Well, I would say maybe let's say not even a month down the road, but we want to just bring him up, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to pull him up in 1 second here. Okay, and you guys have probably seen some of the artists he's worked with. You've seen some of the movies that he's produced, along with his business partner, Manny Haley of Imani Media Group. But tonight, we have an opportunity to spend some time with Rodney. And I'm going to read his bio real quickly. Rodney is an accomplished film producer and entertainment executive recognized as a rising force in TV and the film industry. From the vibrant entertainment landscape of Atlanta to the creative heart of Los Angeles, this Dallas, Texas, I didn't even know he was from Dallas, Texas, native has developed a dynamic perspective that allows him to lead the diverse genre-spanning projects with vision and precision. And when I tell you this man has so much precision when he's executing, Turner's producer credits include the acclaimed True to the Game trilogy, starring Vivica A. Fox and Columbus Short, Dutch, starring Lance Gross, A Hollywood Chance, starring Sharon Leal, McDonough, and Charlie Weber, and the female-driven drama Imani, starring Brittany Hall and Stephanie Bishop. In television, Turner served as a key producer on Angel, starring MC Lyte, Richard T. Jones, and Saya, which earned a second season renewal from BET Networks in 2025. Further evidence of his growing influence in the serialized storytelling. When I tell you these movies, and I had an opportunity to work on a few of them, but it's not about me tonight. It's about Rodney. A proud member of the Producers Guild of America, Turner is both a creative visionary and a hands-on producer with expertise in every stage of production, from script breakdowns and scheduling to location management and logistics. His practical experience in handling unit production management and distribution has been pivotal to the success of the projects he oversees. As an executive with the Imani Media Group, also known as Manny Helly Productions, Turner plays a vital role in overseeing production and distribution operations. His strategic relationship with major theater chains such as AMC, Regal, Cinemark have helped drive the theatrical success of the True to the Game franchise, with each film generating over 1 million independently. That's a lot of bread. For independent, that's a lot of bread. Because before entering, Turner built a strong foundation in artist management, guiding the careers of notable names such as Keisha Cole, you know Keisha, Young Thug, Thugga Thugga, and Weezy Outta Here. All those beats are so fire. Thus navigating the complexities of entertainment business. With a reputation for innovation, leadership, and execution, Rodney Turner II continues to bridge the works of music, television, and film, establish himself as one of the industry's most versatile and forward-thinking producers. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy has such an extensive bio. We had to read it all. We had to show this man some respect. We don't play with our guests, and we're not going to play with this man. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, I'm going to bring up to the stage Mr. Rodney Turner II. Good evening, Rodney. Good evening.
Good evening, man. That was an amazing intro. Thank you for reading that, and I appreciate you having me.
Listen, I waited all my life to be able to read that. A few other things, but that was, let me tell you something. First of all, how are you doing?
I'm great, man. I'm great. You caught me at a good time, just winding down my day here, trying to get these theaters booked. You know, we got a movie coming out in 5 weeks.
In 5 weeks, so yeah, a little over a month. Can we talk about the movie? What's the name of the movie?
Aftershock, the Nicole Bell story. Today we announced the release date, which will be November 28th.
Okay.
Coming to theaters nationwide.
Okay.
It's the Nicole Bell story, which is her account of events, the unfortunate death of Sean Bell, who was murdered by New York police 19 years ago on the eve of his wedding.
I remember
his bachelor party. He was shot 50 in a hailstorm of 50 shots. He was shot and killed.
Can I just run the clip real quick? I want people to be able to see. I want to see run the trailer real quick. I'm gonna bring the trailer up, then we're gonna talk about it.
Go for it.
I'm getting married tomorrow.
My future husband.
Mrs. Sharon Bell.
Oh, it has a ring. It has a ring.
Nicole, something's happened to Sean.
Married man tomorrow, man. It's gonna be good. Oh.
He was just doing what most men do the day before their wedding.
He's gone.
They took away my joy, the future of my kids growing up with their father.
Where's Daddy? When is he coming back?
You better tell me exactly what happened.
They shot at us like we was wild animals.
These cops killed Sean.
I know this is not the life you envision. I need you to be determined.
Does Sean carry a gun?
My fiance just got married. No, he doesn't carry a gun. Nobody's talking about how beautiful of a person Sean was. Nobody's talking about the cops.
Reverend Sharpton.
People need to hear from you. Your voice is important.
No justice!
Sean Bell was shot down in a hail of bullets.
No justice! No peace!
50 shots.
I know this court will do what is right for this officer of the law.
there have been no repercussions for their actions.
Better watch yourself for all around you.
Witness what happened to us. How victims were turned into villains. We are not going to allow that to happen again. This is not over.
Wow. That looks powerful, Rodney. That looks powerful.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's a powerful story. It's unfortunate that she went through that, and we did our best to capture the essence of what was going on and try to tell that story.
How did you guys choose to do this story? And there's a lot of stories out there. Why did you choose to do this story? And again, it's a very significant story, and you get a lot of scripts. What made this one stand out for you?
Yeah, so we've been putting out a variety of different projects over the years, and this is a story that was based on a true events. So Manny actually had a relationship with Nicole established a relationship with her during our True to the Game release initially in New York. He met her, she came to the premiere, and they developed the relationship over time, and he ended up working with her to acquire those life rights. And from there, it had been something we've had for a while. Just, things like that take time to develop. You got to really fact check and go through that process. So he actually initiated the project. And then once he brought it to the team, we were all on board, and we just, took time and did our research and decided to develop it and got it to the point where now it's ready to be released.
That's hot. And your first release is going to be in what city? What state?
So it's going to go nationwide on November 28th. We are going to do a few screenings and premieres leading up to the event, but in New York, this is a New York story, so New York's going to see it
Right,
first.
absolutely. Okay, so you've transitioned from artist management to film production. What motivated that shift, and how did your experience in music prepare you for your success in film?
So I've been in the film business now 10 years. This marks my 10th year. We started shooting our first movie, True to the Game, in 2015. At that time, I was still heavy in artist management. And how I transitioned into that basically is working with the Manny Haley. Me and him have been working together since 2005. And we worked in music and dealing with artists. So it's a twofold thing. The artist management game is really fun and it's exciting, but it does take a toll on you because there's a lot required when you're dealing with artists day to day. And the bigger they get, the more they demand from you. So it just becomes, you got to take care of your mental and things of that nature. So as time was passing and we were just looking at, okay, what can we do next? How can we grow? And find something that we can do that maybe requires less of our time or give us more freedom. And that's how the transition initiated. We were just looking for other options. And, when you're dealing with artists, you can get hired and fired, just to be honest with you. You working with them one day, and if they get tired of you or they're not happy, you let go. And there's no severance package when that happens. So you got to kind of keep reinventing yourself and figure out ways to survive in this business when you're an entrepreneur. So that was an easy transition. I don't want to say easy, but it was just a natural transition as being something else to do. And we started with True to the Game. And after that experience, it was like, yeah, this is the way to go.
With each movie you do, you have to have music. That's one, I see that as one of the crucial tools that you have at your disposal. Would you agree?
Absolutely. It's relationships and music for sure. Music sets the tone for movies for sure. There's always music and pictures go hand in hand. That's why videos are very important as well. So for movies, they kind of set the tone because you can remember what you were thinking about, or music can put you in a mode. So you capture the right song in a moment on TV, it's gold. That's why syncs and things like that are important. They're big revenue streams for artists because those musics play an important role in the TV and film space.
Absolutely. Coming from Dallas and establishing yourself in Atlanta and Los Angeles, how have those different entertainment markets shaped your creative approach?
Yeah, so yeah, I'm a Texas baby. I'm from Dallas, and it's actually becoming full circle because I'm starting to do a lot more work in Texas and in the Dallas and Houston space with TV and film. But when I initially left Dallas, I was a college student, and I moved to Atlanta with my mother, and it just set the groundwork for being an entrepreneur. Coming from Dallas in the '90s, in the early 2000s, it wasn't taught, or it wasn't like a lot of examples to figure out how to be an entrepreneur and make stuff on your own. You kind of just go to college and try to get a good job and think of that life outlook for yourself. And going to Atlanta is like a land of opportunity. There are so many Black people specifically like making their own way, doing different things, being creative to figure out how to make money on their own. And the music business kind of really blossomed in the time I was there in the early 2000s. So that just was being in the environment, man, just soaking it in and just being a sponge and figuring out, okay, this is how people move. And that's how I got into the music business. And then when you're in Atlanta, it's a lot of the action and a lot of work is going on, but the checks is coming from New York and coming from LA. So I would come.
All right, guys, we might have lost him for a second. We'll give him time to get back in here. Rodney, click on the link again. Come on back in here, Rodney. Come on back in here. He'll be back in a second. We have a little technical difficulty. We'll get him back in here. Just click on, okay, I see him. He's right there. We'll bring him back on stage. Okay.
Yeah, I had my do not disturb on. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that.
It's okay. Okay.
Basically, what I was saying is being in Atlanta, and after you work for a little while, you realize where the checks are coming from, and you got to go out there and put your feet in those sandboxes a little bit. So eventually, I was spending a lot of time back and forth between Atlanta and Los Angeles, and it was taking a toll on my family life and my wife. So we made a decision 5 years ago to move here full time. But I initially came here because this is where the money's at.
Has it been 5 years already? God, it seems like it was just yesterday you were here in Atlanta.
Yep. Yeah, I've been living here full time 5 years.
So that brings me to my next question. Do you like it more in Los Angeles than someplace like Atlanta or Dallas? And if so, why?
Let's see here. No and yes, right? So no, I don't like these bills and the overhead that it takes to live out here. It's ridiculous, and I'm trying to figure that out still, how to make it make sense, because you can make some good money out here, but your overhead is gonna be up there as well. So your nut at the end of the day is not as big as you might think it is. So trying to navigate that. I love Atlanta because of the culture, and every time I get off the plane, I know I'm in Atlanta. You can't deny the difference between seeing people of our skin color, and not that I just like Black people. I like people of all skin tones and things like that. But it's just a home. You feel comfortable being in a place like Atlanta. And coming from Texas and Atlanta, they're like brother and sister. Honestly, Houston and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely brother and sister to a city like Atlanta, because it's the same kind of thing. You can find those pockets of that culture and that down home realness. Being in Los Angeles, you get a lot of the fake it till you make it, and you get a lot of facade and a lot of people not what they say they are. But that's part of life, man. You got to be able to filter through those kind of situations and relationships and see through the smoke screen. So I will say in Los Angeles, it's still undoubtedly where the opportunity is. There's a lot of relationships to be had that can be beneficial, and it's a lot of money to be made out here. And that's how I feel about that.
You've been described as a hands-on producer. What does that mean in practice when you're engaged, when you're managing large productions or multiple projects at once?
Hands-on means just that, hands-on. You know, the title producer sometimes is thrown around and not respected because people think producers don't do nothing. They just kind of maybe write the checks or just have that title, and you know, it's a vanity, or they know somebody, so they got the title. But for me personally, being hands-on is just that, hands-on from a movie's perspective, from the initiation of the script to giving my notes on the script creatively and figuring out ways to make sure we're telling a story, one, that's different than what's out there, and two, that actually makes sense. You know, there's a lot of scripts and writing you could get, and just because you got a script and it's like, okay, we're going to do this movie about this, you got to really dissect that thing and break it down and make sure it follows a certain structure and that it has something going on at the end of the day. So that's where the hands-on part starts for me. And with our productions, what I really like to do is, because I'm creative and I can understand the script, I can easily visualize what the director is trying to do. So once we hire a director, me and the directors are like this throughout the process, because I'll find the locations and I'll be like, what do you think about this location? And we'll go into it and we'll be like, yeah, this is what the story is saying. This is what's on the page. And this is how we're going to put it on the screen. But it starts with, you got to have those good locations. So I like to do that part just because I like to participate in what's going on in the script, and I can easily translate it with locations. And from there, it helps me to understand what the budget is and how to stay within the budget based on, this is kind of what the umbrella is looking like. You know, locations can be one of the most expensive parts of a production. So just trying to manage that and keep in the back of my head where we need to be at, it helps to get through the show. And so the logistics around locations as well is that's the whole baseboard of it, because when you shoot a movie, you got to get everybody to the place where they need to be, which is the base camp. So you got to have a place to park these trailers, park the crew cars so everybody can show up to work on time. And a lot of that, it seems like, it's nothing, you just book a location and that's it. There's a whole nother logistical side to it once you identify a location. So being a hands-on person, I'm involved in all those aspects, so I can kind of like keep my team and all the people that's showing up in order, starting with giving them a cool place to park their car, because catching shuttles and doing all that kind of stuff, man, it's a lot that goes into it.
You know, I commend you, because I've actually witnessed you in action, and so many times, and you're able to manage multiple things. And I said, God, this guy has to worry about this and this and this. Well, yeah, I'm looking for location, or, I mean, it's a lot to go into this. When do you have time for yourself?
Oh, that's when we're not shooting. You know, during the production. That's, you know, I will say, people who work in the movie business, it's not like a job where you clock in 8 hours and then you go home. On movie productions for executives, it's like 16-hour days. So let's say it's a 3-week, 4-week shoot, not including the prep, just on principal photography. You got to give up a month or 2 months, at least 6 weeks of your life, and you're dedicating it to this project, you know, because you wake up, for me, you got to be there early, make sure things is rolling, and you got to close up sometimes, or you can leave early or whatever, but that's it. Your day, the shooting schedule is 12 hours, but like I said, you might be putting 14 to 16 in, so you got time to get up, go, come back home and go to sleep. But then the benefit of that is, when you're not in production, if you're not rolling back to back, then now you got a little bit of downtime. And that's another reason for the transition from the music business, because in the music business, as managers, day-to-day people like myself, you kind of deal with an artist 24 hours a day, no matter what's going on. And the bigger they are, the more they demand of you. So you don't get to have that same kind of schedule, because it's day in, day out. You never know what's going to come up. With a film production, you kind of have your production schedule. So you know, okay, for this month and a half, ain't nothing going on. But after that time's up, I got my time back. I might have weeks, days, sometimes months to kind of figure out my next project, take some time to myself, and just basically set a schedule and create a more healthier work-life balance.
How did your early years in managing artists like Keisha Cole and Young Thug influence the way you work with creative talent today? How did that influence the way you work with creative talent today?
Yeah, so that was a great educational learning experience in transitioning that skill set from music to movies, because it's two different reasons. On the practical aspect, it's just about people management and ego management, because artists and people around artists come with egos. So as a manager, you kind of you have to manage those expectations and manage those personalities to get them all to work on the same page for one common goal. So we could take an artist like Keisha Cole, when she's touring, there's a big team of people that it takes to get her on stage. You know, you have her band members and her DJ, but you also have like hair and makeup, and you have security, and you have background dancers, and you have travel teams. So you have to manage all those personalities, who some of them might wake up not want to do something, or some of them might party too long and might miss the bus or miss the plane to the next city. So you got to keep all those people in sync and on one accord to make sure this person can be at the next show and deliver their show with sound mind and ready to execute every single day. So when I step back and translate that, managing those different areas, coming into a movie, you got the same kind of thing, because there's a lot of different departments. You know, shooting a movie is not just a director and an actor. There's a lot of people that are very important to the success of a film that gotta be on one accord. You have a grip and electric team. You have your camera department, which is not just one person. It's somebody that's shooting the camera, and it's somebody that's pulling focus, and it's somebody whose job is just to get the memory cards or get the batteries to make sure those cameras are powered and that you don't miss a beat. You have a script, you got hair and makeup and those things too. So what I'm saying is, it's a lot of different people that you got to get on one accord. And so I learned that from the music business, on how to manage those kind of personalities and get them all to work for a common goal. And then when it goes to cast members and those egos and those personalities, it's the same thing, because now it's like I translate a cast member to the artists themselves, not their teams. So now the actor is the artist, and so they're the ones that, you know, they've been on TV before. You get big actors, they're used to it, and they're used to being catered to a certain kind of way, and it's just little massaging you have to do just to keep them cool. You know, massage their back a little bit so they can still feel like they're the star, but still get them to work and do a job as well.
You know, I don't want to say any particular celebrity, but have you had any celebrity, without mentioning the name, that you would not work with again? Has that ever come to a point where you said, I don't want to work with that person ever again, without saying their name? Have you experienced that?
I wouldn't say that I would never work with anybody from my past before again, because, you know, everything's a business. But it's just like with anything, you got some experiences that are good and some are bad. You just got to take them as they come. I wouldn't say anything particular stands out that I'd be like, oh no, I'm definitely not working with this person. But you know, there's things when you lose money on set, where actors don't show up on time or actors go missing and things like that, and you got to like deal with it and address it. But you know, that just comes with the business.
Okay. What was the turning point when you realized you wanted to focus full-time on film production?
I would say after True to the Game 2, once I really nailed it and understood what the business was and what it took to be successful. And True to the Game 1, it was more of a learning experience. I was more of like a fly on the wall. I mean, I did my part of what needed to be done, but we hired a really big crew of professionals that had the experience that I didn't have coming into the business. And so it took that. It's like you know, training camp, you know, so I use that as a training camp. I learned what was going on. The next season, when we did True to the Game 2, I was fully hands-on, and that was the first project I can say like I really produced. And after that, it's like,
and I worked with you on that one.
this.
That was probably it was so, you know, being able to shoot all those top cast members, from Vivica to Gaget to Columbus to Erica Peoples, they were very great. And when I tell you, work with some of them, you would think that, you know, they're all stuck up and everything. But just talking about Vivica, working with her on 2, Tell the people how fun that was.
Oh yeah, Vivica's great. I met her doing a True One, and Gaget, that's played by Starletta Dupois. So she's an older lady, but she's really witty and she has her stuff together. She's a A1 professional. I like her a lot. But your question about Vivica. So Vivica, I really respect her because she's been on major blockbuster $100 million movies, in her career, and she still has a down to earth personality. She's not too big for any situation, and she's about her business for sure. And she's about her money, but she's a woman that takes her craft seriously, and it doesn't matter if it is one of those big Hollywood movies or an independent project. She's just coming to work and do what she's got to do for the job. So she was great to work with. We had a lot of fun in the True to the Game franchise. She brought that vet experience to our set, because something about Imani Haley Productions is what he does and what I commend him for. Like myself, he gives new executives an opportunity. So, he trusted me to produce films with him as we started growing. But what he also does is he gives new talent an opportunity. So like Erica Peoples, putting her in True to the Game 1 as the lead Gina of this franchise. She was a new actress at the time. Almost, if you look at our track record and our resume of movies, we always put new faces in the spotlight. Like Jeremy Meeks, that was his first movie in True to the Game too.
That's right.
We gave him a shot. So we give a lot of people a shot, but we try to mix it up. So it's like we're gonna put new people in, but we give vets, like established actors like a Vivica Fox or a Columbus Short, a good variety. And so having those kind of professionals open to give knowledge and experience to new actors helps our productions flow and helps keep us where we at.
And so you said Jeremy Meeks. So most people remember him from being, his mugshot went Prison Bay. His mugshot went viral. And when he came on set, it was watching him from never doing a movie, and this was his first movie, never doing a movie, and how he picked up so quickly. How was that for you to see this artist develop, this young man coming out of prison to develop into this great talent? He's landed so many more projects after doing True to the Game.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a launching pad for him to get more opportunities. And I just think it goes to him. Kudos to him for taking it serious. He was a person who wanted to learn. And if you see his material, you can see the growth in the acting, because he did have some, a period of growth that he needed to get to be where he is right now. But he took it serious. He comes on set, he has his sides. He wants to go over the sides if anybody's around. Hey, can you run lines with me? He's that kind of person who really takes it serious. He wants to be on point. He doesn't want to be the reason we're doing multiple takes. So I commend him for being a student of the craft and taking it serious.
Your work spans across many genres, from thrillers like Soulmates, and Soulmate was a really good project. I enjoyed working with you on that one. To drama like Imani. How do you decide which stories to bring to life?
Okay, so yeah, we do have a diverse catalog of different genres of films, and that's something that Manny has prides himself on. He wants to be diverse and try to different things, and I'm a member of the team who he gets a lot of scripts himself, because Imani Media Group is his company. So what he brings, we vote on it. We have a team of people, we vote and we say, okay, this one makes sense, this one doesn't make sense. And that's basically how we do it. We try to figure out what can we do different that we haven't done already. And that's what births, different ideas. So a project like Soulmates came to us. Somebody who worked on our crew, he was like, hey, I got this idea. He brought it to Manny and Yolanda, and then they brought it to me, and then we talked about it, and then we shot it. And that's just how it goes.
You mentioned my dear sister Yolanda, and for those who don't know, she passed last January.
This
past January. How was it for you? Because it was a trilogy, you, Manny, and Yolanda working. How was it for you to get back on the horse and keep pushing forward after her unfortunate passing?
Well, I mean, we're actually still trying to get back on the horse from that, to be honest with you. We haven't really shot a lot of material here in 2025, and we're trying to figure out how to move forward because, yeah, she was part of the trio of Imani Media Group that makes decisions. So it's been rough. It's been a trying time, but it's also been a time where we've been able to grow and reflect on what's important and where we are really trying to go. So I would say, to answer your question, ultimately, it's still a work in progress. We haven't fully recovered, but we are trying to move forward.
Good. As a member of the Producers Guild of America, what production standards or practices do you value most when managing a project?
So what do I value most? I mean, I value my position. I'm an easygoing person. I'm not a producer maybe that you read about or hear about that's like a big barker or a big like boss people around. You got to do it this way. I like to foster a team environment and empower my people. You know, if you're in a position and this is the role you're playing, then I want you to play that role. I don't want to have to micromanage you. I don't want to have to come behind you and be like, oh no, I'm making the decision. I just want to let you be strong in your role. As a producer, I kind of like to say like a lot of my team does the work. You know, you put them in position and the things work itself. All I got to do is just make sure they don't veer off the tracks. I got to just like perfect the imperfections and fill in the blanks. I do a lot myself because I wear multiple hats, but in my producer hat, I'm confident in the people that I employ, and I try to empower them. So that's one thing that I take in my position as a producer. And the Producers Guild, you know, I like them because one of the benefits of them is you get invited to a lot of different screenings. So in different environments where you can hear from other producers and seasoned people who are doing it maybe on a bigger level than I am, and just kind of pick their brain as a fly on the wall, listening to them talk about their project and what it took to get there. And as I'm thinking of different ideas for myself and bigger ideas that I want to do in the future, it helps me like to evaluate my own thinking and kind of be like, yeah, I think I'm on point then, because what I'm thinking, I heard them say it, I heard this person say it, so it makes sense. What I'm thinking, I'm on point. So I use that as a good barometer of where I am in my career and where I'm trying to go.
Was it a moment when you woke up and said, wow, I'm a Hollywood film producer? How did I get here? And did you ever expect to be there?
You know, I didn't think about it until you sent me that picture before this event today, before me sitting here talking this interview. I sent it to my wife. I'm like, look at this, man. He put my picture on this thing, Hollywood producer. I'm kind of like reserved and humble, and I don't really pop my shit like that. So I don't know if I ever thought about it. I just like to get it done, you know. I'm very competitive. I like to have fun and I like to win. So that drives my work ethic. But as far as like, oh, I'm this big producer and stuff like that, I don't kind of look at myself that way. I'm just doing what I love to do, and I'm blessed that I could, you know, live out the dream, because it is a dream to do what you want to do. That's the ultimate dream. Not like I wanted to do this, or I wanted to be a ball player, I wanted to be a producer. That's not the dream. It's just my dream was to be happy and to be able to feed my family and have fun doing it and not do nothing illegal.
Right. You know something? When I just asked you that question, I thought about when people ask me, when did you realize or you wanted to do this? And, you know, sometimes when you're working, you don't really think about taking, you know, the pat on the back, you know, and I think that you could have easily been that person. Hey, I want to be hot shot and run in the room. I'm a producer, but you never do that. People will never know. You know, you can walk into Starbucks or walk in a Chick-fil-A and they'll say, this guy, I don't think this guy Hollywood producer. Until someone tells you. Now, guess what? I just exposed you. You're a Hollywood producer. You're going to have to get some more security now.
Yeah, I might, you know.
So,
did, man.
Angel on BET Networks was recently renewed for a second season. What do you think resonated most with the audience about that series?
Yeah, indeed. That one's been a long time coming. That's one, I think the fans gave us their feedback, and that's what made it a success to me, because we always get a lot of comments about when is the next one coming out. So BET networks have been in a transition period over the past year and a half, and they actually still are a little bit. So that was partially to blame for the delay. But we initially put out 3 episodes, and they moved over to Tubi as well. And those 3 episodes, that's just a series that kind of checks all the boxes, man. It's no one category I would say you put it in, because we explore a lot of topics, and we have, it's basically a female-led cast, but we throw in a bunch of different stuff. There's the alternate lifestyles that we talk about, and we tell those stories within that series. And for season 2, that's going to give them a full season to really understand what's going on in this universe. Angel is a derivative of the Dutch franchise. Angel's a character who is part of Dutch's crew in the movies, and so this franchise kind of shines light on her backstory, on who she is, and really takes it to the next level of who she is as a character, and with how she was introduced. So I'm excited for that to come out. It's going to come out in 2026. It's been a long time coming. It's almost 2.5, 3 years since season 1 was out. But that one's a big one. It checks all the boxes, so I can't wait for people to see it.
I can't wait either, because seeing the first one, it was just so dope. What does your creative process look like when developing a film from concept to final cut?
The development process is just that. It's development, meaning you gotta build it. You can't just say you want a house and that's it. So I would consider the script kind of like the blueprint and the bones of the project, the skeleton of it. You gotta get it on paper first, and that's not an easy process. I think we talked about this a little earlier. You can't just say the concept is this, and this. You gotta there's a formula to it, and the good stuff has that formula, whether we realize it consciously or not. It's like certain things that happen. There's an arc, there's a beginning, there's an end. There's things that happen along the way. There's a challenge, there's a quest. And good stories and good projects, check all those boxes. And so, yeah, you want to make sure you're not just blabbing along, you're not just rolling. You got to kind of give them a story, literally. And once you get that done, you get the words on the paper. It's about hiring the right people and bringing the right team together to really fill it out. And so it starts with a director, having someone who can share the vision of the writer. Sometimes a lot of directors are writers because they have that vision and they can easily carry it on because they know what they was thinking when they wrote it, and they know how they can visualize it. So having a writer, director tandem or person, that's a good, you're on your way with those 2 things. And from there, it goes to casting. You got to cast, and a lot of the casting process, it's about really finding that person, not just plugging a name into the box. You got to really make sure they resonate and understand the material. Make sure their co-stars have chemistry. You have a relationship that you got to display on camera. You want to make sure that these people can like each other in real life, and that they can sell it on camera, and that they understand the story, and they took time, that this is really their personality, that they could turn it on and dive into that. That's why a lot of times, you get the right chemistry. You find out these people are they're couples in real life. They're on camera couples, but a lot of relationships in Hollywood and in this business, they stem from them working together on set, and it becomes an acting thing, and then it translates to being a real thing. And that's when you have the best chemistry, sometimes, when those people can really relate to each other. So casting and then the crew, none of that stuff matters without the crew. So once you get the framework and the blueprints, you gotta dress it up. You gotta have a hardworking team that's willing to put in those long nights, them long hours. And if the material is right, you're gonna get that, because people want to come to work because they're like, I love what's going on with this project. I love how it ends. I can't wait for people to see it. And those are the best ones. Every project's not like that. Sometimes it's like, oh man, we shooting this, So it's kind of a balance. But when the material's right, then the end result's right. But that's the development process, man. You got to get through it.
Now, let's talk about union versus non-union, SAG versus non-union. You have a combination of both on some movie projects, correct?
Well, SAG is one union that you can't really get away from because any actor that's about any business or has any merit, they're going to be SAG for sure. It's the other areas where you could kind of circumvent the unions and not have to use union people, which are like DGA, which protects the directors or, helps them get more money, and IATSE, that's like most of the crew members. But there's Writers Guild. There's pretty much a guild for every role there is on a movie set. The thing about it, as an independent, your budgets aren't so big. So what the unions do is they kind of require you to have more crew than is actually necessary. You can kind of achieve more with less as an independent, but they have certain standards and certain fee structures that can balloon your budget. And if you're trying to scrap by, it's like we can't afford to do these unions. Because something else they do is they make you pay deposits, which is basically money up front that they want to keep. It's almost always six figures, and then you got to fight to get it back. So if you got to park six figures and then you still got to shoot your movie, and then you got to fight and scrap to get it back, it's sometimes not worth it. So a lot of independent producers will go non-union.
That sounds almost like the mafia.
Well, yeah, you go down that rabbit hole, you might find out that's what it really is.
You've been praised for your ability to manage relationships with theater chains like AMC and Regal. How important is distribution strategy for independent filmmakers today?
Well, yeah, a lot of indies are not going to go theatrical because that's a big hurdle in itself, to get into theaters. Some you might have to four-wall it, which means basically you buy all the seats yourself and, sell them like a promoter. Some theaters might let indies in that way. We've been fortunate enough to be able to, we started releasing projects theatrically in a time where we could build those relationships and kind of by default. So with True to the Game 1, we knew that was a theatrical movie. It was a book that was very well known, so we considered it an IP with an inherent audience, and we knew that it would perform well in theaters. But when we were infants in this business, we went around and people didn't want to distribute our movie, or they wanted to charge us ridiculous fees that we didn't think made sense. So we kind of had to learn the business by default, and it just was basically knocking on doors, making cold calls. We had a lead generation sheet. Somebody helped us out by giving us, hey, these are some of the contacts to get us started. But then it was just like yellow pages. Let me call, let me sell it and see what's going to happen. So that happened with True to the Game 1. So when True to the Game 2 was released, it was in the middle of COVID. And a lot of big studios were pulling back their release strategies and holding off because people weren't going to movie theaters. And that gave us an advantage to go forward because they were thirsty for movies. So we could just kind of use the relationships we had from True 1 and add on to it. And there was an open reception to, they wanted kind of any kind of content. So the timing of those releases helped establish the relationships that I have now. And so I think that set the tone. If we had a release at a different time, or if COVID didn't happen, I'm not sure the relationships would be as strong for me personally, but that's what kind of gave us the leg up. And now, we just water those relationships every couple of years. There's things like CinemaCon where all the theater buyers, they go to, and you can build relationships and reinforce those relationships there. And that's what's kept us in the game. So now, where we 3 years later with our last release was in 2022 with Soulmates in theaters. So now it's 2025, it's 3 years later, but those relationships are still solid. And we built those relationships 7 years ago. So that's the thing too about networking and relationships. You gotta stay with it because people turn over, they lose their position, or somebody else comes into play. So you gotta water your relationships to keep them current. And as long as you do that, that's with anybody, not just a movie buyer. That's just life in general. You get a relationship,
keep
follow up, keep cultivating for sure.
In your opinion, what's the biggest misconception about a film producer?
That they don't do no work. I think that, and that they assholes.
That rumor.
Yeah, and that they assholes and rude, and that they rich. Every producer ain't rich either, I'll tell you that.
We're not going to talk about your mansion right now. We'll talk about that later, sir. How do you stay innovative in an industry that's constantly evolving with new technologies and viewing habits?
You got to be a student, man. It's about, doing the research, paying attention to the trends, and seeing what's going on. Just getting outside and seeing it. Me and my wife, we go to film festivals and we go to different environments because even though we make movies for a living, we don't make all the movies in the world. So we got to get out of our own box and comfort zone and kind of see what's outside. So I just think being a student is the biggest thing to keep you relevant and to keep you evolving as time goes on.
How has AI impacted the filmmaking business from the last 3-4 years, for not just for you, but for the industry?
I think the jury's still out on what the impact is on that. There's new technologies and a lot of more advanced AI things that are taking place now. We're seeing people who are creating movies completely from just typing in some algorithms and things like that. So it's still coming out, but I would say that's a TBD thing. I would definitely say it's for sure here to stay, and it's part of the equation. For me, like me and my wife, we're actually developing a script that involves AI in the storyline for our company, and that's something we just got to adapt to because we know it's here to stay. But I would say it's a TBD. The jury's still out on what's going on with that.
I thought about was a Hollywood actor. I don't know if it was Samuel Jackson, but I liken that to when actual trained actors have issues with like rappers coming into the business, and they were worried about the rappers coming into business because the rappers bring in rappers came in with like a TI with a fan base built in already, and then you have these trained actors who may have went to Juilliard, and you have this guy standing on the side. Hey, this guy never acted before, so I can see the fear of certain people in the business with AI, but like you said, the jury's still out. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, you can't replicate human instincts and emotion. I know you could like try to duplicate it and try to replicate it, but I just don't think it's something about that pureness that comes from a human that I don't think can ever be touched or matched. So yeah, I think although AI is evolving, I think the best stuff is still going to be 100% human generated.
And again, it's all artificial anyway. So
correct.
Whatever you need something to replicate something in order for you to be able to say, "Hey, this is getting close." What qualities do you look for in a team when assembling a production crew or choosing collaborators?
Choosing collaborators. I would say I like people that are smart and that don't think, in a straight line. I like people that can think outside the box and come up with something different. Like some stuff is like really easy to do, but as a culture, it's like we got to like expand our reach and our thinking strategy. So I'm always attracted to people who kind of like bring something different to the table. And as far as like co-workers or people that I work with, I have a certain few people that I like to work with. And really, it's my wife, T. She line produces most of our stuff. She's a producer with me. But when I say line produce, she's in charge of hiring the crew. And she has more of a pulse on who would be the right fit for certain projects because she hires them and she deals with them in a way that I don't. So I kind of lean on her to be like, to help fill out the team. I'll pick a few key players and I kind of let her do the rest.
I've seen, and by the way, guys, I was supposed to be in 2 movies. One I didn't want to do, and 2 I was supposed to be the luggage guy coming up to bring the luggage when Gina was. I think that's True too. And I said, I don't want to be the luggage guy. I don't want to be that guy.
No, that wasn't True 1. That was our boy Sonny. He did that. Yeah.
No, it was 2.
At the house the condo.
The condo. It was
New York. Yeah.
I want to be the leading man, but they have a spot for me for that. when someone approaches you, knowing that what you do as a film producer, they say, "Hey, I want to get. How can I get in? Like, how can I get in the business? What do you do?" Like they'll, like I know this guy who plays a clown on. Well, anyway, I know different people, but this guy, he plays a clown a lot. Do you have any roles for clowns? Like if you like bringing a clown in to do like a scene or something?
Well, let me answer your question. So when people want to get in the business, and right now you're referring to actors, right?
Yes,
Or
actors.
talent, on-screen talent.
On screen.
I don't know if we have any stories that involve clowns at this stage of things, but I think the way to do it is to keep auditioning and keep on like sending in your tapes, because producers definitely look at those tapes. And if you get an opportunity to read for a role, go all the way there, right? I mean, go get the wardrobe if you can. Go rent it, damn near.
It's
Like
almost
get on camera as if you are the role and you're reading and you're in the scene, you're just reading it.
Listen, some have a perpetual costume on, but anyway, we'll talk about that later. What's next for Rodney Turner II?
Well, yeah. So this year I launched Latex Media, which is a production company that me and my wife formed. And Latex is a combination of LA and Texas. That's what it means.
I like to play on words.
LA, Texas. Yeah, it's a play on words. So I've been, my Texas heartstrings have been pulling on me heavy for a while now. And this year I kind of like started activating it, because being here in LA, I've started to meet a lot of people that are from my home state that are here actively working in the business and doing big things. So it would have started as a network of us and a community of us just to collaborate and share ideas, birthed a production company. And so I'm really excited about that, because I'm trying to do some elevated, different kind of content for 2026. And I have a few projects that I'm already working on or developing. So I'm really excited about Latex and telling some stories from, I don't want to pigeonhole it just to Texas, but that's where some of our first set of content is coming from, to tell some stories to voices that are in those areas like Dallas and Houston, but also just to build things and to build some stuff with my wife and get out here and rock and roll.
You touched on another important topic. The Imani Media Group is comprised of mostly family. Even you have your wife working with you. You'll work together.
Yes.
Is that one of the formulas for success in your marriage, to work together with your significant other? If so, when did you
yeah, it
realize
is. It is to me, and I know like people on the outside just like, how can you work with your spouse or your partner? It's like, when do you get that break, or how can you separate the two? It worked for me because of a lot of my early years of being married and in this career, I was gone and on the road. So it became a little bit strenuous on our relationship to be, in multiple cities and still try to, keep the household together. So COVID for us, I know it was a weird time and a lot of transition for a lot of people in the world. For us, it helped like strengthen our marriage and bring us closer together, because that 6 months to a year when we just couldn't go outside the house and we had to just sit there, it made our bond stronger, and we came out of it like, okay, let's rock. We can work together. She had a skill set already that was easily translatable to the film business with her accounting background, and it was able to work for us. And we actually, took a page out of Manny and Yolanda's playbook, because they were the ones who were doing that initially. And so they welcomed my wife T with open arms into the business, and that's how we got everything started. And so now with the Imani Media Group, it's now that Yolanda's passed, his kids are picking up the slack to carry the torch. Ayana, she's been a working actress in the business for a while, but she's also, putting on a business hat. And the little Manny World, he's producing movies. He's working with us on the production side and growing into his comfort zone as a producer and coming into the business. And so just keeping it in the family, we try to hire, friends and keep the same circle of people so we can, it's like if you're making money as an entrepreneur, your people around you should be able to make money with you. You shouldn't have to go outside too far when you have people around you that are either family members or close friends that you can give those opportunities to. So for me, it's been working out cool, and I'm excited for what's coming next.
Well, I know you have a busy schedule. I appreciate you taking the time and talking to myself and my audience. I'm sure people have questions. I got a few texts to me. Someone asked me, did Nikki work with you guys? Was Nikki a part of the entertainment group at some point? Nicki Minaj?
Yeah. So that was during her American Idol days. Okay. Nicki Minaj, Manny, my partner, he was actually her manager along with G. Roberson. Okay. And so that was like 2012, 2013, 2014. I came onto Nikki's team in 2013, and I was a part of that camp, and we did manage her.
Yeah. So I remember I was on a project. I want to say it was with Nikki was on that project. I think Swiss Beats was on it. You remember that when Swiss was there as well?
On an album project or
something? No. It was something with Nikki working with you guys, but I remember Swiss B was on the set on something. I got to think back because I remember he brought the Audi 8 little sports car. But in any event, I got to go back to my archives. Is it anyone that you want to work with that you have not yet worked with or haven't had the opportunity to get at them? Well, you guys have great relationships. So is there anyone that you would like to see on a Rodney Turner project?
On a latex project? Anybody?
Yes, latex.
I would like to do something with Jamie Foxx. I think he's one of the best actors in our generation. Okay. And he's from Texas too. So yes, I would say Fox is on my wish list, if anybody. I don't really think about it that much, really, to be honest. I think I want to just book people or work with people that fit the project. But since you asked me that question, the first person that came to mind is Fox. Okay. Well, listen, Jamie, get at the team, man. All right, Rodney, thank you very much for being here. You've it's been an honor to interview you. I look forward to interviewing the cast of the upcoming project. And we just keep pushing forward. I appreciate you guys also allowing me to be a part of that family, and it's been beautiful all the years. As a matter of fact, I remember when Ayana I shot her first headshot when she was a child. So and it's Manny watching Manny World. I mean, so watching them grow up, it's been wonderful seeing what they have accomplished over the years. I really, it's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah. I'm looking to see if anyone had any questions for Rodney. Well, I had all the questions. I don't know if they had the questions, but I have all the questions.
Yeah, you sure do, man. You got me talking for an hour. I don't even talk that much, but I appreciate you.
This is amazing. But Rodney, thank you very much.
I appreciate your platform. I appreciate the viewers who watched and who've been following this story and who follow Dennis. Thank you. If you want to find out more about me, I'm on Instagram at Silent Hustler. That's my tag, so you can follow me there. Aftershock, we just dropped the trailer today. That movie's coming to theaters November 28th. So if it's in your city, please come support us. And yeah, man, big things coming. Thank you guys for tuning in.
Appreciate you, Rodney. See you on the next one. Peace.
Take care, brother. Peace.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've been blessed with some great knowledge today. And I want to start bringing in more different guests. I did a lot of interviewing over the years, but we kind of, we kind of want to get back into more interviewing people that it's hard to get access to. With that, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you support this video, share it. If you have any questions, you can send your questions to info@Byron Media Group. And if you have a client that you think would be a good look for us to interview, info@ByronMediaGroup.com. Make sure you liking, subscribing, and sharing this interview. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you on our next live. And I really appreciate you guys taking the time, because you could have been anywhere around the world. You could have been doing anything, but you decided to be here with me. With that, thank you.
Welcome to the mic, it's the Dennis Byron Show. Breaking headlines, truth in every flow. From courtroom seats to exclusive shots. Journalism raw, yeah, Byron calls the shots. Subscribe, stay woke, now let's get in the know. It's the Dennis Byron Show. 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 The Dennis Byron